Let's talk today about possession of drug paraphernalia, especially now that Dallas County has stopped prosecuting most misdemeanor weed cases. A lot of the suburbs are giving more possession of drug paraphernalia cases. Even when you have a small quantity of marijuana, they will a lot of times turn that into a drug paraphernalia charge because they still want to squeeze that orange and get a little juice out of it. They don't want to just let people go. So rather than ignore the marijuana, they'll charge you with drug paraphernalia, and then you got to deal with that in court. So we handle those, and you know, there's ways to attack those depending on the circumstances, depending on how the stop went down, how the search went down. And sometimes the police, you know, they're not perfect. They do some things wrong sometimes. The problem with the drug paraphernalia case is I have to charge you a certain amount to handle it, and then you also have to decide whether you want to fight the thing all the way or whether you want to just take a deal that'll keep it off your record. And a lot of times people end up wanting to take the deal because it makes sense. Some people want to stand on the principle, and that's fine, but it can be more expensive for you to do so. So I just want to make that clear up front. People end up having to make a decision whether they want to keep every nickel they can out of the hands of the greedy police department by fighting, but they end up spending more if they do that. And then if you win, it's great, but if you lose, then you're not happy because you spent a lot of money. So it's kind of one of those things, you know, it's not ideal. You've got choices along the way, and there are good ways to handle these to keep them off your record. And in some ways, you might take the approach, look, I could have gotten a possession case if it was 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe I would have. Now, I just got a possession of drug paraphernalia case. Not so bad. So, you know, those are things to consider when you've got one, if you get one. I'd say don't carry stuff around in your car. You know, a lot of people, maybe you should clean your car periodically, because I've had a lot of people say, hey, and this may just be their story, but I think for some people it's true. They said, hey, I had some stuff in the car from 6 months ago, a year ago, I didn't even know it was there. So they'll consent to a search. That's another reason consenting to a search is never a good idea, because you may not remember what you left behind in your car. So clean your car out periodically. Make sure there's nothing in there. Be careful who you let in your car and what they might be dropping in there or forgetting, leaving behind. And then also just don't consent to searches, because you never know what the police might find that you didn't realize was still there.